Hey, welcome everybody. It's Walter here, and I see a lot of familiar faces. Wow, this is pretty cool. On such short notice, I see Adrian is here, and Ashley. Hey, Ashley, welcome. Um, wow, so many good friends here. Damon is here, and of course Dan, Endry, and Felix, Gary D, and Gary H. Graham. Good to see you, Graham. And Graham M as well, and James and John H. Excellent. Keith W is here. Wow. Thanks so much for your time, Popco. And Sam A is here, and Scott is here. Scott S. And Stuart. Stuart, it must be oh no, you're close to New York time, so it's alright for you. Stuart's out in the middle of the ocean. Okay, welcome everybody. I know why you're here. You're here to hear from Roberto, who has been posting his amazing system on the forum, and there's been a lot of interest in it. I knew there would be. Roberto's a bit like myself in that we've both been trading for 11 years, and I think that what you'll hear from when we let Roberto take over here is going to be really interesting because he has a great perspective on trading. He has a really good presentation style, and better than that, his trading system, that I should say trading systems, because we're gonna hopefully have him back again for another one. His trading systems are incredibly simple, which is always attractive to me, and quite powerful. So I'm hoping that after viewing some of his trades and his videos on the forum, we can actually get into it a little bit more deeply today and see get into sort of the nitty gritty of how Roberto trades the 1 hour charts without indicators. So thank you so much for your time, Roberto, and go ahead and take it away.
Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for attending this webinar. Thank you, Walter, for inviting me. But before I get into this trading strategy, I just wanted to briefly talk about what I really think is the most important part of trading. 11 years ago, it was next to impossible to find a good Forex mentor or course that was affordable or even worth taking. You know, I would spend thousands of dollars, fly thousands of miles to attend a weekend seminar, and when I got home by Monday, when the markets opened, I would have forgotten almost everything, and there was really nothing online that I could rely on. No online support, nothing. Fast forward, things have changed. There's so much to choose from. So much good information, but also a lot of scams. So many marketers wanting your money for robots and $57 holy grail strategies. But there's also a wealth of information. Great Forex gurus, websites like fxstreet.com, Forex Factory, Naked Forex Forum, that can help you succeed in this financial arena. It's all there in front of you online, so there's no reason why anyone that is serious about becoming a professional Forex trader cannot make it in this business. Forex trading, it's not really that hard. How do I explain this? Trading to me is real simple, and I don't say that to be arrogant. It's just easy, and it can be easy for anybody if they know what to do. The problem I find with most traders, and I had the same problem when I first started trading, is that there's so much focus, and this is so much focus on how to trade instead of what is required to be a good trader. The emphasis is on tools, indicators, risk management, price action techniques, Elliott waves. All those things are really important, but to me, it is a very small part of what is required. You can have all the knowledge and have all the tools, but traders never think about, how do I feel about losses? The emotional aspect of trading. If you're devastated each time you have a loss, you need to overcome that. I used to be that person. I used to spend money on courses and books, but I never addressed those issues. When I first started trading, I met two brothers. They're very evil. One is called fear, the other is called greed. They will completely overshadow your ability to trade effectively. You're not going to be able to look at a chart and say, wow, I see a kangaroo tail. I think I'm going to take a short and enter a stop loss at the high and put a break-even stop or put a profit at the nearest support and turn off the computer and walk away. Okay, it's great. you're going to sit there and stare at your screen and worry at every uptick and downtick that you'll be on DEFCON 5, and you will exhaust yourself, and you will exit that trade at a loss and have forgotten why you even entered the trade in the first place. I've done this, but I was able to overcome those evil twin brothers. They don't exist for me anymore. They left a long time ago. So without education, without understanding of psychology of the markets, your chances are really limited. You have to trade so loss does not even hurt. You don't think twice about it. You go and forget about it. No problems. If you lie awake at night and you run downstairs and find out what the market is doing, you're probably trading too much risk. So it's just a loss. You just move on. It's no big deal. And that's the difference. That is quality trading. I'm happy to wake up the next day, put on another trade and go for it and do. I don't care about risk adjustment returns. All I care about is my positive attitude, following my trade strategies and managing my risk, and that's all I do. And that's it. So does anyone have any questions? And if not, we can go on to the trading strategy.
So far, all good, says Dan. Yep. So far, yeah.
Okay, great.
We're ready to go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So this strategy is based on a few trading methods that I've learned over the years. And what I did is I went back and reviewed the hourly charts on 12 different pairs and found cycles that were consistent enough to pay attention to. And I started trading these patterns. And to my surprise, the profitable trades were extremely high. So I refined it more and more, and now I'm happy to share this with others. So let's go over some of the setups. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Let's go over some trading rules. I don't trade when the markets are ranging. Recommended using the strategy during the strong markets, London, New York, and Asian, at the beginning and the end of each session. And this is the two more color rule. And you can see on this chart, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles followed by a color change. And that's your alert candle. And I like using the 1 hour chart because it does cut a lot of false signals. If you use a 15-minute or 30-minute chart, you're not going to get the same results. And here's a trade, really nice trade. Now, the more candles, like if you have 5, if you have 2 candles, that's great, and you have a color change. But here we have 5. These are strong moves. Okay, the more candles before the color change, the more powerful the move. And here we have 5 candles. Here's a color change. Here's a sell, take profit. Same thing. We have 5 candles, color change, sell, take profit. Okay? So that's basically it. We don't have any questions. We can go on the chart and start looking for trade setups and possibly a trade to take.
So
this
yeah.
Go ahead.
So sorry, Roberto. So just to clarify, so what you're saying is that if we only have 2 colors in one direction, like 2 greens, 2 up
Right.
candles, then we might not expect as strong a move as if we see 5. Is that right?
Yes, correct. And I will go into the details, and that's why I don't like doing back testing on charts less than a daily chart, because there's so much volatility. You have news events, you've got so much that if you do a back test, you may not. I had a friend who I gave him the system, and he did a back test, and he lost 5 trades in a row. Well, it so happened that day there were 5 news events. So it's not going to work.
Right.
You have to be an independent thinker. You have to know how to place these trades. You have to know which trades not to take. Even if you see a setups, which ones are not high probability. And I will go over that, because there's several things that you need to look at before you take a trade. These setups are very easy. I mean, 5 candles and an alert. I mean, that's 5 days of activity. Market's completely exhausted and needs to turn around and go the other way. And the color candle change really helps. Okay.
Right. There are some people asking about the 25 moving average. Is that an
moving average line?
Yeah.
Great. couple of things, and we'll go into that more in detail. When ideally, if the 25 moving average line is above or below on the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart, those are great trades. But you're not going to see that. We can look at, this is a 1 hour chart, but if we go to a 4 hour chart, I didn't take a screenshot of that. I'll guarantee that this 25 moving average line was up here and
Yep.
not down here.
Yep.
So you always want to trade in the direction of the higher time frame. So if I see a setup like this, I'll go to the 4 hour chart and I see the 25 moving average line is above the price, then yes, then I say great, this is a great setup. And of course your confirmation is down here, but you're trading based on it's price action. And of course price action overrules lagging indicators like moving average lines.
Yep.
And is everyone clear on moving average lines? For a long time, people didn't. I would talk to people and said, "Well, what is a moving average line?" And so moving average lines, they're just very simple. Here, the moving average line is flat, so it's not really giving you much information. You can't go by this trade by the moving average line, not until here, until it's slanted. Because moving average lines, what they do is they calculate the close of each candle. So when the moving average line is going lower, it's calculating the close of each candle going lower. When it's flat, the markets are not doing anything. But this is a 1 hour chart, and this, on a 4 hour chart, you would have a lot clearer picture of what's going on. Does that help? Is that clear?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yep. Yep. They're saying yes. Great. That sounds good.
Good.
But this isn't Ermelinda, this has nothing to do with Heikin Aishi. It's just you're just looking at standard candles, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
I use Heikin-Ashi as confirmation. I actually have another charting. I use 3 different charts, and when I see a setup like this, then a friend of mine calls it Heineken,
Right.
and I would look and see if the colors are the same, and then it would give me a confirmation that yes, this setup is good. I should stay in it. So I use a lot of different confirmations just to remove the doubt. Like the webinar Emmanuel did. Why did he do back test after he had done it before and he did it again and again? Is to remove the doubt that your system works.
Yep.
And you have to do that. It's so important. You don't want to be in a trade, you're not sure, and then you get out at a loss. You want to make sure when you take that trade, you're comfortable. You believe in that trade, and you put your stop loss and you limit an order and you just walk away.
Yep. Yep. Makes sense. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So everyone's clear on the 25x. It's the exponential, yeah? 25 exponential?
Actually, it's a simple moving
Simple.
average.
It's a simple. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was the
But
same.
to me, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay, great. Yep.
Should we go to the charts?
Yeah, let's go. Ashley and Ermelinda. So you do use the Heineken Ashy candles for confirmation at times. Is that
Confirmation. I use a lot of different things, but
Okay.
this is the core of my strategy.
Okay,
This
cool.
This is what I like to use. I do price action, candlestick patterns,
Yep.
big shadows, kangaroo tails,
Yep.
baby candles,
Yep.
inside other candle. There's so many. You have to know your candlestick patterns here. You can move on to the Heike system, but this is more accurate, and will give you the trade setups before any other system will, because they are lagging. Other systems are lagging. Price action is price action. It's what's happening right now.
Yep. Yep. Gotcha. I'm with you on that one. Okay. Yeah. So we want. Yeah. So a few traders here want some examples. We want specific entry and exits. These are the sorts of
Okay.
things. So they want to get into it.
All right, let's do that. Okay, so I have an account with Saxo Bank, but I don't like their charts, so I use this Hot Forex MetaTrader charting software. So so I'm looking. This is my screen. I got 17 pairs on 2 screens, and you're probably thinking that's crazy. How do I look at so many pairs at once? Well, the only answer is well, I'm looking for the same thing on each pair, so it's not that difficult. But it may require some getting used to. So let's go to a trade setup. Okay, let me just pull up the euro yen. And let's look at support levels. I'd like to find entries, trade setups at support or resistance levels. Major support on the 1 hour, 4 hour chart. Let's look at a 4 hour chart on this pair first. Oh, it is a 4 hour chart, sorry. So the moving average line is up here, so let's go to the 1 hour chart. So this is really interesting. I want to show you something that here, this level right here, we know that on the 4 hour chart, the 25 moving average line is below price. So we're in an uptrend. We know that. So what do? We scroll to the 1 hour chart and start looking for setups. Okay, so we had two candles, then we had a red. I'm sorry, two red candles, then we have an alert candle here. Let me just, and please ask questions because I know that you may not think that this qualifies, but it does, because we had two red candles and a green candle, but because we were in between sessions, the market really didn't do anything till the New York session. So this will happen. A lot of times you may think, well, I see a setup but nothing's happening, I'm getting out of the trade, and I used to do that. It says, no, when you look at a trade setup, you have to look and see what time are you trading at. That's why I like to place trades at the beginning or at the end of a session, because I know I'm going to be in profit within the next hour or so. So here's an alert. Okay, and what do? I wait and till the candle closes, and then I put a horizontal line at the close, and that's 99.89. Now I need to place a trade 8 pips above that, and normally I'll take a limit order. So that didn't qualify, and it didn't qualify until here. My entry would have been 99.97 right there, so that would have been my entry. Okay, my stop loss had to be below the entry candle, and normally I like to give this breathing room, so I would put a stop loss 10 pips below, which may be too much if you're looking at risk reward ratio. I mean, what are you looking for? Well, I know on this trade setup the 4 hour 25 moving average line is below these candles, but not on the 1 hour chart. But it doesn't matter because I have a trade set up, and I enter the trade, and I just manage it. I know that this long candle, if I would have seen this, taken this trade, but then I saw this long candle, I would not get out after 10 pips. I would definitely put a break-even stop loss, and then maybe with 10 pip extra, so I can lock in some profit. And I would just manage that trade, and then I would put my stop loss again below this candle, and then exit when this candle turned color. It was a color change, and that's it. That's when. Any questions on that trade? Anything that you don't see, if it's too abstract, just please, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Just go ahead.
Okay, so okay, so we've got Gary says, where do you buy on the two green candles? So it's off the close. So you're going 8 pips higher than the close of the alert candle, right?
Yes, this is the alert candle right there. This
Yep.
is the alert candle. Now, and it didn't trigger my buy till it got about 5-6 hours later.
Yep.
You see here, 99.97 was the entry, 8 pips, right there. This was the entry.
Yep. Yep. So and the fact that those little tiny doji looking candles sort of bounced off support, that doesn't really have much to do with your trade, does it? Or does it?
Yes and no. I don't want to get too complicated because it's I just wanted to do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
If I give too much information, I'm afraid I'm just going to lose people.
Yeah.
But yes, this is screaming buy. All this here is just screaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Price is completely exhausted. If we look at a higher time frame, we'll probably see maybe a daily pivot point. You'll see so many different things that is happening here.
Yeah.
Okay, and basically what's happening is the bears push price down, then the bulls try to push it up, and then they fail, and the bears try to push it down, but eventually, with this candle, and that's why, I like to take trades 8 pips above. Finally, the bears look at this and say, okay, that's it, I'm out of this trade. The bulls are taking over. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you see this kind of like rounding. This is what is called um, there's a name for this. It's called distribution of order flows. When you see this here, see the markets, you see it again up here. You see distribution of order flows. Market was going up, and then it threw a kangaroo tail, and then there was a distribution, and then the market retraced. So this rounding is just a distribution. You have more buyers coming in, and the sellers are exhausted. They're getting out of the trade. So you have to have an understanding and just not be looking at candlesticks and place trades. It's great to have an understanding of what's going on in the market. And institutional traders are entering the market here, and they're 90% of the market, so they'll push price, okay? And that's what happened here. So there's so much information here, but again, I just wanted just to focus on the two or more candles and the alert candle, and then the entry and take profit. So we can get into all that, but that's so much information, and I don't want to fry people's brains in one webinar.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, exactly. So there's your answer, Gary. Yeah, I was afraid to ask that question actually. So Eric says, why don't you just put the 100 moving average on the 1 hour, because that's equal to the 4-hour 25.
You can put 100, you can put a 35 moving average, you can put any kind of moving average line, but that's not what I look for. That's not the main concern. What I'm looking for is price action first. The moving average lines are just confirmation.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to rely on lagging indicators. I used to do that, and I was very disappointed. So if I took 100 trades and I rely on moving average lines, that wouldn't work. Price action works much better. I've gone from away from price action to a lot of different indicators, and I always would come back home to price action.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, I mean that makes more sense. It's just that I like the 25 moving average line, and don't ask me why. It's just that it's just like when you use anything for a long time and it works, you want to stick with it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you don't want to experiment after you've been taken so many courses and bought so many books, and you finally get it, and you want to just stick to what works.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all these other moving averages, they do work. I mean, there's so many different techniques that works, maybe better than this, but this works. This makes me money, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to share it, and I use it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. So, just to be clear here, Dapper Dan asks, can you put an arrow on the alert candle? Which it's obviously
Sure.
that
Sorry.
the green one.
Yeah, let me do
Yeah.
that.
The first green one. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Here's the alert candle right here. Can you see that?
Yep. Yep.
There's two red candles followed by a candle color change, and the entry would have to be above 99.87, and that was here, right here. Sorry, this candle here.
So it
And then
was. Yep.
my stop loss would be below the entry candle.
Yep.
Okay, and then I would just manage this trade. If after my entry I would see this big candle, then there's no way that I would take profit. I would just manage it. I would just keep on moving my stop loss. Okay, because this is clearly a reversal based on these candlestick patterns, or
Yep.
candlesticks rather.
Yep. So everyone sees that. So the alert candle is the green candle after the two big red ones, and it's 5 hours plus after later 5 hours later that the market actually goes 8 pips higher than your close. So your entry candle determines your stop, and your alert candle determines your price to buy at, or your entry price essentially. Yeah.
Right, and you don't want to sit here and watch this. All you need to do is put a limit order
Yep.
up here. You don't at that time though. You don't know what your stop loss would be. It would have to be down here. if you would have put a limit order when you saw this candle.
Yep.
But it's just every trade is different. It's sometimes you see the setups right away, and you take the trade and you're in profit immediately. And other times you have to wait. It just depends on the setup.
Yep. So, and this was early in the was this early in the European session where you were triggered? Is that right?
Right. Early in the European session, and then this is the end of the New York session, and then it retraced. This is what I call my bread and butter trades, and I'll go into that
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. Okay. And so, just another question here. We've got, um, uh, can he go over the simple moving average roll again? What exactly is he looking for with the trade setups regarding the moving average?
Okay, great question. Okay, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Let me just highlight this area again. Yeah, I'm glad for the questions because it's the only way you're going to bring out the knowledge in me. Sometimes I just forget and I get sidetracked. But here we go. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Oh, I'm sorry. 4-hour chart didn't tell us anything on this trade. So, but I think on this trade, what I was looking for is the support
Support.
levels on the 4-hour chart and on the 1-hour chart. Look at all the support. We have kangaroo tail. We have railroad tracks here. We have all this activity back around 99.80 area. Price doesn't want to go down. The institutional traders, the banks don't want this to go any further down. And of course, the BOJ doesn't want this to go down anymore. So there's always a lot of activity down here holding this price up. So that's what I was looking for. It wasn't the moving average line. It wasn't until it got to here, and just let's just highlight that area, that we have confirmation on the 1-hour and 4-hour chart that price isn't, and of course is going up. But if you would have waited till the 25 moving average line, then you would have missed out on this whole run. That's why I like using price action, and that's why the consecutive candles and then an alert candle works so well. It's so effective because you can get on in a trade before these lagging indicators telling you that the market is going in a certain direction. Of course, like here, this would have been a lot easier of a trade because we do have two red candles. It's above the moving average line. There's your alert candle, and there's your entry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the only problem with this trade is that if you didn't take profit, you would have gotten stopped out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
When but when I see price above the 1-hour and 4-hour chart, I usually stay in a trade and I put at least a 30 or 40 pip stop loss. That is the only time that I'll put more than a stop loss below the entry candle. I'll put in a lot more stop loss because I know that, look at this candle here. This big, big candle, big bullish candle, engulfing candle. And all this area here is telling us price is not going to go any lower. We have a kangaroo tail. We have this big bullish engulfing candle here, all at this area. So this is a late entry and it's a more conservative entry, but price is still going, as you can see, it's still going up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, right. So it's tempting to put a really tight stop on that trade, isn't it? Because your entry candle is so tiny. But you're
It
saying,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying because it's above the 4-hour moving average, the 25, and the 1 hour, you want to give it a little bit more room and really kind of milk it. Is that right?
Yes, of course. That's what I like to do. Of course, the entry down here was it was ideal because it was very strong support. We have the double bottom. We have so much. Look at this double bottom, kangaroo tail. It broke and it broke the high of this double bottom. And then if you would have taken this trade, you could have stayed in for since September 27th and still be in it now. If you can do this on a 4-hour chart also, this technique on a 4-hour chart. I like doing it on a 1-hour chart because I'm looking for short profits on a lot of different currency pairs. I'm not placing one trade and hopefully I'm going to make 100 pips on that trade. I usually place maybe 10 to 20 trades a day and make anywhere from 100 to 200 pips because I like doing it. It's just my style of trading. Other people are not interested in holding 10 different trades and just would rather do one. And it's just my style of trading. That's why I'm looking at so many different currency pairs. And as a result, I learned so much by trading so much because I see all these setups, and when I enter a trade, I'm in profit. It gives me the confidence. I see, oh, I see this works, and it's working over and over. And that's why I developed this 1 hour trading strategy to help people become very good at scalping and become more of a all-around trader instead of just being a swing trader or just holding positions with a 400 pip stop loss, which I can't do. Personally, I could never do that. Okay. I couldn't sleep at night if I knew I had a position open and I'm down 300 pips, even though it's a mini lot. I just couldn't do it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Sure. That's good that you're trading your personality. Um, so I see a lot of questions here about like for example how long do you wait? So you get your trigger candle, and then that last trade you were showing on the euro yen on the 1 hour, it was 5 hours plus since you get triggered. So is there
Right.
a time limit on these or?
No, there's no time limit because a trigger, an alert is an alert. A trigger is a trigger. Either you get stopped out or you're in profit. There's no. I've yet to, and I take that back. I might have seen some trade setups that I've taken in the past that the price just sits there for 5 hours and nothing's happening. Well, and then I would just exit the trade at maybe a 2 3 pip loss. That has happened, and it's going to happen. You're not going to have all winners,
Yeah.
but you can control your losses. So it's a wonderful technique. It's very simple. It's all you need. It's color coded. You just trade on colors. And there are other aspects to trading. I've been trading for so long, so when I do see a setup, I can take advantage of it. I know what's going on around that setup. There's so many other things like what we were talking about before with this kangaroo tail and this setup here. So what I would do if I do see a setup, and let's go to another one, so I can clarify this and make it a lot easier. Um, let's look at this one here. You see the setup here? We have 5 candles and an alert candle. Okay? Now let's highlight this. This is where confluence of indicators really help. Okay? Now, where is this happening? It's happening at maybe a fib level. Okay? And that's around 61% retracement level right there. So we have this turnaround around 61. So that's one reason. So usually I'll look for 5 reasons to get out of a trade. I mean 3 reasons to get into a trade. And that was one reason. I have a fib. Now let's go to the 4-hour chart. And where is that trade? On the 4-hour. I lost it. I'm sorry. Let me just go to the 1-hour chart. And it was right here. Let me just make this, highlight this. Put a line there. Go to the 4-hour chart. Look where the 25 moving average line is. It's slanted down, and price is below the 25 moving average line. Notice that?
Mm.
Is everyone clear on this? I just move that. This area right there that I highlighted on the 1-hour chart, we saw an alert candle.
Yep.
And on the 4-hour chart, look at the moving average line. It's slanted down. So this trade, look what happened here. We went 4 hours. Look how many hours, and look how this trade, you would have entered around there maybe, and you would have made over 100 pips on this trade. Let's go back to the 1-hour chart. And that was the trade set up right here. Have any questions on this? Now these are really good trade setups. When you're trading in the direction of the 4-hour chart, you see the setup on the 1-hour chart. This is clear trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles. Then we have an alert candle. Okay? It closes below. That candle closed at 98.81. Your entry is 8 pips below that. And with this trade, I'm very confident I'm going to make money on this because I'm going in the direction of the 4-hour chart. And the 4-hour moving average line is slanted down. So I would take this trade and look what happened here. Okay? Does that help?
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you: are you concerned about those highs to the left there as a possible bounce there, or
This here?
yeah, yeah, all of
Not
those?
really, because I'm going in the direction. Look at this. Two things have happened. Look at this move from here to here. Okay, the market is exhausted from this level to that level. And what happens? Of course, you can qualify this trade, and definitely there would be some, you know, these levels. Yes, I would think, but it happened on the euro dollar. I'm going to show you that one, and it broke the euro dollar. What I'm saying is that these trade setups have priority over recent support or resistance levels, to me.
Yeah,
Why? Because on the 4-hour chart, the market flow is down. If the market flow is up on the 4-hour chart, I would definitely not take this trade, or I would get out here if I could maybe make 2 pips, or let's see if there was a trade set up. That candle was closed right here at 81, but it broke this high. If the 4-hour chart was in an uptrend, if the 25 moving average line was on the 4-hour chart, was slanted up, this would have been a very difficult trade to take. It probably would have bounced off and then gone up. But no, the 4-hour chart, let's go on the 4-hour chart. Okay, when that trade set up, the market flow is down. Okay, and as you know, we always trade based on the higher time frames. The hour time frame is not going to tell us where the market is going. I use the hour time frame for entry. The 4-hour tells us where the market is going. We're in a downtrend. Look at this. Okay, if you look at this chart, the market flow is down. We have lower lows on the 4-hour chart. So when I place a trade on the 1-hour chart, I refer to the 4-hour chart. And I didn't go into the videos, but because it would just be too much to get into. But now we can get into this more in detail. Always trade. If you see a setup on the 1-hour chart, you have to go to the 4-hour chart for a reference point. And that goes, if you're trading divergence, if you see a divergence on the 1-hour chart, you need to go on the 4-hour chart to verify that. If you see a kangaroo tail, then you need to go to the higher time frame and see if there was a resistance support level, like the pound dollar. Remember on the pound dollar last week? On the hourly, or rather on the daily chart, there was a resistance level back in April, and it threw a kangaroo tail on last week or a couple of weeks ago. Okay, those are reference points, really important. Okay, so always look at the higher time frame and see what the market is doing. And here, I want to be trading in the direction of the 4-hour chart, but place my trades on the 1-hour chart. So if I see something clear on the 1-hour chart, then yes. Then look what happened here. Look at the previous support all the way back September 11th. How appropriate.
mm.
And look what happened then. Then we start seeing the candles are smaller. We don't see huge candles anymore. We don't see as many red candles. There's so many more red candles than there are green candles. Okay, but then look what happened. The market's exhausted. The candles are a lot smaller. And this is, let me just highlight that area. And this is right here, is telling you that the market is exhausted and ready to reverse. And the candlestick patterns and the 2 or 3 or 4 candles in a row with the alert candle will help you, will guide you, and help you decide to take a trade on that. And it's like a puzzle. You have to figure this out. You have to be looking at all these different things. You have to be looking at support. You have to be looking at your candlestick patterns. You have to look at these. You have to know the candlesticks like the back of your hand. If you don't know your candlestick patterns, do not try this at all. You need to know how to place trades. You need to know your candlestick patterns like the back of your hand. And then it becomes very easy.
So
Okay?
this is a question from Robert. He's asking, is this sort of like an institutional stop run? Is that what you're looking at these tops or bottoms? Is that an area where you're looking? You're basically saying the institution is going to run the stops there.
I want to say yes, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
I can't really say that. I just know that the institutions are 90% of the market,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of orders up here, a lot of sell orders up here, because look what happened. Huge. Okay, does that answer your question? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a technical trader. I have a lot of fundamental knowledge about the markets, but I'm a purely technical trader, and the candlesticks tell you everything, what's going on in the market.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have said, because I try not to get into into all the reasons why, because I know what works, and it's just to me it's more important to look. The chart's going to tell me what's going to happen, and I know there's 1,000 reasons why, but in the end, the chart tells all. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to keep this as simple as possible. If not, you're just going to get caught up in so many different things and so many conflicting signs that you'll never trade.
Yeah.
You just wait and you'll see, oh, I could have made money on this trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
there's another trade. I could have made money on that trade.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've been there. So
We've all been there.
trades.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Yeah. We've all been there. So the exits is something that's coming up a lot. A lot of people want you to go over your exits again, because I know you talk about on the forum about taking 10 pips, but sometimes you trail, you move yourself to break even. There's lots of little
Yes.
fiddly bits to that. Yeah.
Yes. You want to make at least 10 pips. If you've made 10 pips on each trade, and there's so many trades, you'll be fine. Number one. Number two, there are setups at very strong support and resistance levels that I will put a break-even stop loss depending on a few things. Candlestick patterns. Kangaroo tails is one. If I see, for example, here's a nice trade setup. This is a different kind of trade candlestick pattern. This is the mother candle, this is the baby candle. If it breaks below, then I would probably stay in this trade as long as I can. Your stop loss would be up here. So in the combination of, and this is the beauty of the system, is that with many systems you learn a specific technique and then you stick to that, but you don't understand the overall aspect. When you're looking at it at the candles, you can't, you're sticking at, I hope you know what I'm talking about. For example, I learned this technique on fractals. Fractals are great, but the only problem is that you're going to miss most of the trade if you wait for the fractal, for the breakout trading. It's a great system, but you're going to miss out on most of the trade. With candlestick patterns, with price action, you're going to get into the trade before the market decides where it's going. Okay, and that's the beauty of this. So the candles, the two candles with the red candle, this is a lot of information. We have two green candles, we have an alert candle, okay, and we don't have an entry yet. And here's the price breaks below
The big candle, right? The price breaks below the big
Right.
candle. Yeah.
breaks below the big candle. There's your trade. Your stop loss needs to be above the high. Okay, I don't know if I answered that question clearly. There is just so many different setups,
Yep.
but this setup, this technique that I'm showing is very, very accurate. Um, there are certain setups. Let me give you another one that doesn't work, that I would wait. here we have three candles, right?
Mm.
But then we have this big candle. Where are we going to get in? I mean, the market has just moved so much. I have to change my strategy. I know it's a bullish engulfing candle, but I don't have a small candle that I can place, uh, that I can use as my alert candle, and then place my entry 10 pips above. It's already moved up so much. So what I do is just put a horizontal line to top to bottom and do a breakout trade. So these candles are different. When you have something like this, when you have two green candles and then a very small candle, then it becomes a lot easier, because you know your entry, you can put your entry um, a lot. If this was a big red candle, then I wouldn't even know where to get in. But these small candles are telling me the market is exhausted, there's no more buyers, and it's ready to, and then the bulls tried one more time to push price up, it failed, and then just turned around and went down. It's telling a story. The markets are telling you a story, and if you can learn how to read this story, you'll make a lot of money in the markets.
Yep.
I used to look at charts and I had to turn it off. I had no idea what I'm seeing. Now it's very simple, because these candles will tell you everything. Okay, and please ask more questions, because I'm sure I didn't answer that question clearly, and all I can do is get another question and try to
Yeah.
answer it again and again until
Yeah.
people actually understand it.
We've got tons of questions here. It's hard it's hard to pick here. We've got a few people are asking about zigzags. They say, "Oh, this is similar to the zigzag at a crucial fib level." I mean, would you agree with that, or what would you say to that?
Sure, exactly it is, and I gave a seminar a few months ago, a class, and I had 10 people telling me 10 different trade setups that this was similar to, which is great, because it just confirms that this is just not isolated trading system that I have. That there's so many different things that people see that they can use. Um,
Yep. 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 What about there's a question here, do you take the 5 candle setups, or do you still trade the two, or because a few of your examples had 5 candles in one direction and then
right,
an alert
right.
candle, so yeah.
Well, let's look some with just two. I mean, here's one with two, right here. Two red candles. This alert candle also happens to be a kangaroo tail, which is so much easier when you see a candlestick pattern or a candle that turns into a nice kangaroo tail, and you know you're going to make money on this trade. Okay, and it rejected the previous support. Okay, let's go find another one. I mean, there's just so many. Two, I just the 3 or 4 or 5 candles just stood out for me, so I used those as you know examples. But there's just so many. Um,
How would you manage
I
that
mean,
trade
look at
on the
this.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
how would you manage it on the 4 hour? Because I know on the 1 hour you're looking at an 8 pip break of the
No,
of the
on a 4
yeah.
hour, yeah, you have to triple
Yep.
the pips, the stop losses on a 4 hour. And on the day, if you see it on a daily chart, you have to have at least 100 pip stop loss.
Yeah. And so your entry on the 4 hour is not 8 pips above the close of the alert candle, but instead is what? Would it be a different?
It's more like 20.
Yeah, 20 pips above the close. Okay. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
Let me see if I can find some just two candle setups. I have to go to another chart probably. So here's 3. We have, this is a 4 hour chart though. We have 25 moving average line is slanted down. We're in a downtrend. This is a very easy trade. You can do this on a 1 hour, 4 hour. 4 hour, you'll make more money. But here's the alert. Your stop loss is above the entry candle, but your entry candle is not till around here. Your stop loss is above the entry candle, and there's your trade. You're going with the trend. And let's highlight it and see what we see on the 1 hour chart.
Would that green candle scare you there? That green you've got a couple
No, because I already got my alert. I
Yeah.
already got my alert candle. I have three and an alert. This
Yeah.
green candle doesn't mean anything to me.
Sorry, the one after that
Okay.
one, the next green candle. You're in the trade now, and you get another little green candle
Well,
after.
okay. Let me just get this remove this highlight because I can't. Um,
It's washing them out. Yeah.
right. Okay. So which one are you talking? Okay, we have three green candles.
Yep. You're in. Okay, you get triggered on that red
I
candle.
get
You're in.
triggered down
Okay.
down here.
Okay.
I
Now
get
you're
triggered
in.
down here somewhere.
Yep. You're in profit. You see a little kind of little baby kangaroo tail, and then a green candle. Does that scare you out of the trade there, or do you hold on?
No, because I have a break-even stop loss by the time it gets down here. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can see before this green candle, price went all the way down to here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a break-even stop loss plus 10 pips on this trade, so I'm still in profit. My stop loss is above this candle. This
Yeah.
this is the entry candle, so my stop loss is above here. With actually it's a break even now,
Yeah. It's break even. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and then with 10 pips. So probably if I would have had a trailing stop, this probably would have taken me out. But notice this: you have this is a 4-hour chart. Moving average line is slanted down, and remember what a moving average line does. It calculates the closing price of each candle. So as long as the candles are closing lower each time, the moving average line will slant down. So price would have to break the 25 moving average line for the price to turn around and go north.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So if let me just one more question. So you're sleeping now. You get
right.
triggered on this 4 hour candle, and you go to sleep. I'm assuming you'd wait until you can move to break even, or would you go to sleep with it open?
Ah, okay. If I do place, yeah, that's a good question. It just depends. I usually don't place trades and just turn them off unless I see a huge candlestick, a huge kangaroo tail. Unless, for example, here, let's go to these levels. Let's go back to good. I'm glad you asked me that. If unless I see this, I usually will not take a trade and turn off my computer and go to bed. If I see this, yes, this is very great setups right here. I would put my stop loss below here and put my limit order up here, and then put maybe one position I'll do a 10 pip take profit, and a second position I'll leave open, maybe 20 pip profit. It just depends on the setup. You have to learn to recognize high probability setups. You just cannot take a trade because you see 2 or 3 candles and then you see an alert candle. You just can't do that.
Right.
You
So it's
have
not
to
it's
you
not a
have to
it's not an
recognize.
EA. It's not an EA. It's not a yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like backtesting these, because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Learn your candlestick patterns. If you do, if you understand candlesticks, then this is 90%. That's 90% of learning how to trade technically. Now, there's also the mental aspect of that, what I was talking about in the beginning. But candlesticks are so much fun to trade, and you have to believe that they work. They do.
Yep. And Irvin asked for more examples with recent
Okay.
yeah, recently taken stops, targets and the reasoning behind them. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Let's do that. Okay. Um, Australian dollar. Where are you? Here. Here we are. It's the Australian dollar. I love the Australian dollar. It's so easy to trade. Pounds, New Zealand dollar is so easy to trade. They trend so well. Euro, Australian dollar, they trend so well. So easy to trade. Here we go. Market flow is down. We have 2 candles, green. We have a red candle. There's your alert. Okay? Now, this was easy because, of course, news came out and they cut the interest rate. So, you know, the Australian dollar was just going to go down. It's not going to go up. And it did retrace. It wasn't going to retrace much. So here's 2 candles. So what do? I wouldn't even wait, really, for this because of the news event. The fundamentals override what's happened technically, but technically this is in line with the fundamentals. So two green candles. The dollar is 1.026, and your entry would be 1.018. Okay, your stop loss would be above this candle, 1.02672. Is it? No, I'm sorry. Here's the entry is below here, and your stop loss is below 126.72. Your entry is 126.56, I believe. Okay, my math is really bad today.
Yeah.
So this is your entry, and you can take a stop. You can take a profit at this swing low. This is a support. You would have made 20, 30 pips on this trade, or 20 pips on this trade, and or I'm sorry, about 10 pips, or you could have just stayed in. Now notice 25 moving average line on the 1 hour chart. Let's go to the 4 hour chart. What's the 4 hour chart telling you? Same thing. Let's go to the daily chart. Look at the daily chart. So we have the daily chart, 4 hour chart, and the 1 hour chart. The 25 moving average line is slanted down. So it's going to be very difficult for the Australian dollar to retrace based on the news events and the technicals. Is that clear?
Yep. 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 So you don't trade this system during the Asian session, do you? Ask Robert. Are you?
Sometimes I will be sending some snapshots, or rather some more trading rules, and I'll post them on Naked Forex Forum.
Okay.
On what pairs I trade during the Asian session and New York and European session. There are different pairs that I do trade, and if you want those, be happy to give you, because the markets do trade. You know, they behave differently. Each currency pair has different personalities, and they behave differently in different sessions. So I will be happy to send that.
Yeah.
So you want to focus on a certain currency pair that'll give you the most maximum profit, depending on the session that you trade.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. Ball wants to know if there's a Euro Aussie 1 hour signal right now.
Let me see. Let's go. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Market flow is up. We've got. Let me make this bigger. Okay. The only problem is that the market is completely overbought right now. But
Yeah.
it's still. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock Eastern. We still have about another hour, a couple more hours. I would take this trade going north. 3 candles. Here we go. Here's the setup. And I would take this trade right now. Okay. Here's your entry. 126.26 candle closed, and 126.34 is your entry.
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. There you go. Take the trade. Put your stop loss below this entry candle. I would actually put it below here somewhere. But this is a great setup. There you go. There's your trade. Where's your exit? I would get out at these highs, which is hold on a second, at 126.54. But then again, the market is completely exhausted. It's put in. See how many pips it's put in. 89 pips. Not so bad.
Right.
But technically, this is a good setup.
Yep.
But it's going to meet some resistance up in this area.
The 4 hour is clearly up, obviously. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on the 4 hour chart. Oh, but look at this. We have 2 green candles and an alert candle.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it breaks these levels up here, this might just turn around and head south. Okay, but the overall trend is up on this pair.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're only looking for buy trades, but it just makes it easier for you to pull the trigger on buy trades. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's so much easier. Okay, if you're trading against a trend, taking counter trend trades all the time, That's difficult. You'll get exhausted because what happens is that when you take a counter trend trade, it takes so long to be in profit. But when you take a trade with the trend, you can be in profit almost immediately sometimes. There's more buyers than sellers. The only time I take a counter trend trade really is at the end of the session, and probably around 2 o'clock Eastern time, which is pretty late for you guys. But I'll be looking for entries, and that's what I did on the euro dollar. I posted on the Forex Naked Forex Forum, the euro dollar trade.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
let's take a look at it real quick. If there's any other trade setups you want me to look at, I'd be happy to. Um,
Yeah, Rasika asked, about the entry candle. Yeah, so Rasika's saying you don't really know where your stop is below the entry candle until the entry candle closes. Well, that's true,
well,
Rasika.
no,
But
not really until you get triggered.
yeah, exactly. You know what the low is when the trigger candle pushes through your order. Exactly.
Okay, so look. This is yesterday. The market went up. This is the euro dollar. Okay, and this is, of course, it didn't qualify. There was no two green candles, but we did have a baby candle and a mother candle. So I was happy to take this trade going south. I'm always taking trades in the direction, counter trend trades at the end of the session. Look at here, same thing. Okay, market went up, exhausted, and it retraced. Market went up, exhausted, and it retraced. Okay.
Hmm. So would you say right now you're looking for possibly a buy on the euro because it's been going down today, or
Oh, let's look at it quick because I didn't pay attention.
today's actually not a really? It's a choppy day. It's kind of up and down.
It's a choppy day because there's just so much news coming out. We have, if you look at Forex, let's look at Forex Factory. Okay, and this is when I'm careful, and it's what I said. You have to be looking at news events. And look at this. We had retail sales. We had at 8:15 ADP non-farm payroll, and numbers just came out 7 minutes ago. ISM non-factoring PMI. That's a high impact news. And then tonight we have numbers out of Australia. So markets tend to become really choppy when there's a lot of news events. So I'd like to, if I've made my if I'm in profit and I see a lot of news events, then I just stay on the sidelines. I just wait till the next day. There's no need to be trading all the time. These setups are very sensitive to news releases, so you may see a nice setup like here, but what if there was a news release and price just shot down before it recovered, and then when you're away, you would have been stopped out. So if there's a news release, I definitely do not trade this system. I just wait till the market settles down and then look for a trade setup.
So you wait for the news to be released and then you'll go in, though, right? Yeah.
Well, I do a news trade,
System.
and that will be in another webinar. I
Yeah.
love trading the news. A lot of people hate the news. I love trading the news because I know what I'm doing. There's certain techniques to use trading the news, and they work all the time. And you can make quite a bit of money in a very short amount of time. Like, let's go to the news event on the Aussie dollar. Okay, and so I have to go to a 5 minute chart because that was the strategy. I just do it really quick because it's so much fun doing these trades. And
This was yesterday, right? Yeah.
this was yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me see if I can find the
It's
5 minute chart.
yeah. It's an easy candle to find. It's October 2nd, right?
Well, I sent the videos online. You see
Yeah.
clearly. I can't find it. I don't know where it is, but the market just. What I do is I isolate the candle, and let's just take a candle and pretend that that's the news event. Let's pretend this is the candle. Let me just make this bigger. Let's just pretend that this is the candle. This is the release. This is the spike. What do? I just place my horizontal line top to bottom on my 5 minute chart, and I just wait till a 5 minute candle closes below or above the initial spike, and then I take my trade.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. It's very simple.
And how do you exit?
Usually I'll take off that trade on a news event, a high impact news event, on a surprise number. You should at least make 30 to 50 pips on that trade. Now, of course, it depends on a currency pair. On a pound yen, you can make 100. On the Australian dollar, 30, 50 pips. With the Australian dollar, I never got out. I stayed in the trade because I know, I mean, I saw your video and you had an alert to sell at below 103.30 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so, it was great. I said, oh, this is terrific. Walter's recommending a sell below this price, and Australian dollar selling off because of the news event. I'm not getting out of this trade. I'm staying in. So I got in at 103.20, I think, and I'm still in this trade.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So that's. So you're basically you straddle that 5 minute news candle and you wait for a close
Right.
on either side, and your stop is on the other side. I'm assuming as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Stop is on the other side.
yeah. We can definitely get into that. That would be pretty. So non-farm payroll too.
Every high impact news event, there's just a handful. We have, let's see, new home sales, non farm payroll, PMI, um, consumer sentiment. That, but then again, the numbers have to be extreme. There's a deviation. So you take the forecast, the actual numbers, and the numbers before that, and you figure out, okay, like here, this is such a surprise. I mean, 25 basis points. That's huge. Okay, and that's what you look for. A
Yep.
lot of trades that I look, there's no trade. The numbers come out, there's not a trade. Let me just go back to trading technically. But oftentimes you'll see a setup. Boy, numbers are great. Like non-farm payroll and the unemployment numbers, they came out a few months ago. Very disappointing for the U.S. And the euro just took off. I almost didn't even get filled. I mean, I just kept on. Finally, I got filled and made a huge, nice little profit on that trade. But yeah, things like that's why I love trading the news, because within 10 minutes I can be up 50, 60 pips. I'm done for the day.
Yep. Yeah, we can do a whole new webinar on that if you're keen for that, Roberto. Yeah.
Okay, no, I'd be happy to. So, does
Yeah.
anyone want me to go to any more trade setups? Anything else? I mean, if it's, I'll be happy to post more of these. That's why I was posting them online, so you can just look at them over and over and over and realize that, wow, this really works. And when you do take a trade, then you're not afraid. You have the confidence to take the trade setups because they work. You've seen them work time and again, and that's what I had to do. I had to go back to my charts and just find at least 100 trades setups before I was convinced that this actually worked. And now when I see a trade setup, I just take it. I don't even think twice
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. And so this
Now that doesn't mean that I have losses. I mean, I do have some losses. I mean, it's you're gonna have losses. Uh, a trade may not work, but 90% of these trades work out, and that's very high probability rate.
what about the pound? Alan says the pound. Is there something going on the pound, Alan? Is there a trade you're looking for, Alan? Um, please, I don't quite get how you enter. Irvin, so you have an alert candle. Maybe Roberto will just do one more.
Yeah, let's just go over it again. No
Yeah.
problem. Let's again. Let's go to the Australian dollar because it's easy. We have one, two, three, four, five, six red candles, right? Then we have a color change candle. We have a green candle. That's our alert. Okay. Of course, this didn't work. I'm sorry. I'm I was doing the wrong thing. I wanted to do the green one. We have two green candles, and then we have a red candle. That's the alert. That's our pre-signal. That candle is telling us that this run for the past 2 hours is over, and the market is ready to resume its downward trend. Is that clear?
Yep. Yep, we got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Then, when this candle finishes, I wish I could make it bigger, but I can't. When this candle finishes, I look to see where it closed, and it closed at 102.2626. Then I put a limit order 8 pips below that, and then I put a stop above the entry. So if I entered at 1.026, I'm sorry, 1.026, which is really 1.0262. I'm sorry, 1.0262. And if I'm placing an order to sell 8 pips below 1.0262, which is 1.0250, 54, then my stop loss needs to be above this entry candle, and it has to be above 1.266. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Again, we
Yeah.
have 2 green candles, then we have an alert candle. This is my pre-signal. It tells me that the market is finished with this retracement. And then as soon as this candle closes, and by the way, you don't need to be staring at your screen, just come back at the top of the hour to see that this candle closes, and then look to see where price closed, and then place a trade 8 pips below that.
Yeah, and you don't. Sorry, and you don't know where your stop is. Your stop, as soon as you're entered, as soon as your trade is triggered, now you know what the high is on that entry candle, and
Right.
you place your stop based on what the high is on that candle, because it's a sell trade.
Exactly. Your stop has to be above 1.0266. You entered your trade at 1.254.
Yeah.
And then you can take profit 10 pips or put a break-even stop loss and manage this trade.
Yeah.
And again, if I see that the 25 moving average line is slanted down on the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart, chances are I will take more than 10 pips on this trade. But you can just take 10 pips on this trade, look for another trade. If you're not used to getting out and scalping, then put a break-even stop loss and and see what happens. See if this trade just keeps going.
Yeah.
I take many trades. I'm used to taking a lot of trades. I like doing it. I like the action. A lot of people don't do that. But it's fun because I like to be rewarded for each trade that I take, not just for one.
Right.
And it feels good.
And yeah, so Ashley is asking, so if you set a limit order or a sell stop or whatever you want to call it, you can't determine your lot size as you don't know your stop loss.
Gosh, I never even thought of that. Your lot size. If you have a $5,000 account, you're doing minis, I wouldn't. These are very short trades with short profits, and I look at many different pairs so I can maximize my profit. I'm not. You have to put this into perspective. You're not trading off the daily chart. This is a scalping technique, and it's designed for 10 or 15 pips. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to switch gears here. You have to put on a different hat. If you've been used to trading on a daily chart, you have to start thinking differently. You want to be taking profit immediately. And if it keeps going in the direction and you would have made more money, then so what? The most important thing is that you recognize the setup, you enter the trade, you put a proper stop loss and a limit order, and you made money. And the more you do that, you're going to be very good at trading this system. You're going to be very, you'll refine the skills. The more trades, the more profit that you make, the more trades you're going to be able to see on different pairs, not just on one. That's why I scan 17 pairs, and I have to pry myself off my computer because I see too many setups, and I wouldn't have a life if I sat and took all these trades. There's just so many.
Yeah. Yeah. Would and so where's your target? So I have some questions here. How do you determine
The target
your
is 10 or
target?
15 pips if
Yeah.
you're going with the trend. And if you're going against the trend, definitely 10 pips with a break-even stop loss. Now,
Yeah.
these are not hard and fast rules, but they're just guidelines.
Yeah. So if you were still in this example, would you be thinking about getting
Right.
out just because it's been consolidating on that level down there?
No, I would be putting my stop loss above swing points.
Yeah.
Okay? My stop loss would be 5 pips above. This is swing point right there. Now, I'm in profit already. Okay? Um, and a lot of times it just depends how I feel. If I don't want to stay in this trade, I just get out and just look for another opportunity. Why? Because I'm a scalper and I'm always looking for opportunities. So even I'm not, I make 40, 50 pips on this trade and I'll get out. It doesn't matter if it keeps going down. I'm just going to look for another opportunity. Now I target at least 50 or 100 pips a day, and that's enough for me. I don't need any more of that.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right. So on just curious on the Aussie dollar rate announcement, would you still be holding that trade? Or are you long gone out of that one?
no, I'm still in the trade. Okay, but I've got a trail. I have a stop loss. I can't remember where it is. I haven't looked at the
Yeah.
account.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's another thing. I don't even look at when I'm trading. I don't look at the account. I don't want to be overshadowed by the money.
Yeah. You just want to
I
stick to
don't.
your system. Yeah.
Right. I don't look at pips. I don't look at the money I make. I look at win and loss ratio. How many wins against how many losses? And that's really if you have more losses than wins and you're still in profit, then you're over leveraging and you don't know what you're doing. And then you have false confidence in your trading, and eventually you're going to lose. And I've done it. I've seen it happen where people, they have a string of losses, and then they take huge trades with huge leverage, make up all their losses. But basically, what they're doing is they're being rewarded for really bad behavior, and eventually you're just going to lose.
Yeah.
Okay, just don't do that. You place a trade, you know it's a bad trade, but you made money on it really bad. Because eventually you're going to place the same trade subconsciously because you develop bad habits. That's why I developed the system. Just trade the system. Look at the 25 moving average line. Look at your support and resistance levels. Wait for the market to tell you what it's doing. Don't get in a trade just because the market takes off in a direction. And then you should basically throw in a Hail Mary and hopefully someone will catch it and score a touchdown. So
Yeah.
you don't want to do that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's gambling. It's not trading. That's part of the quality of trading that's important. Okay.
Yep. And just I know we should probably wind it down, but just one more. Here's Irvin saying, how do you scalp a ranging market? Well, I'm assuming that you don't.
I don't. I don't scalp a ranging market. I don't look for. I don't look. I mean, if you see all the setups that I showed you, all the examples, the markets was trending. Okay. Here, this is the market was selling off on the Australian yen pair. The market's clearly in a downtrend, and now look what's happening. It's starting to recover, and it's broken this trend line, and probably going to go up from here. But these are the trade setups. This is what I look for. I don't look for ranging markets. First
Hmm.
of all, it takes too long to be in profit in a ranging market, and it's not fun. It's not fun to trade during the ranging market. Just find another pair. That's why I look at so many different pairs, because you're gonna find a pair that is trending and it qualifies as a trade setup. If you're looking at the euro dollar for these setups, then it's gonna take a long time and you may not make a lot of money. And it's why I have all these. Um, my screen looks like this because at any given time I can scan all these charts and find a trade. I'm only looking for the same thing on all these pairs. It's looking for the same setup. Okay, that's it. So,
Yep. Yep.
and
Okay.
you can do this on a higher time frame. I've seen setups on a daily chart that were excellent trade setups. Okay, that you could stay in for days or weeks at a time. Doesn't have to be the hourly, but this is designed for an hour chart for small profits, and that's it.
Yep. Yep. Okay, cool. So, how many trades do you have at a time? How many pairs do you watch? You're basically looking for trending pairs that are in a strong move, right? Um,
Right. And
and
then at the beginning or at the end of a trading session.
yeah, key point here. That's great. I'm glad you said that. So, you're looking at London Open, London Close, or New York Open, New York Close, right?
You know what? I'll just put that together in a text and I'll send it to everyone.
Okay.
Uh, all
Awesome.
this. I had some trade rules that I showed briefly, but I'll just have them so everyone can have them. Just review. Just there's just certain things you need to do. Support and resistance levels.
Yeah.
They're also the key. Trending levels. That's another point. Okay. Then you look at your candlestick patterns as support and resistance levels. That's another area of a high probability setup. Moving average lines. Look at that. Okay, it may seem like a lot, but when you look at it after you've learned the system, all you need to do is look at the chart, and immediately you can just see everything at once.
Yep. Yep. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure everyone. Yep. How many? Oh, last thing. Last thing. So do you have a set risk per trade?
You mean lot size?
Yeah. Well, yeah. For example, like people are asking, does he risk 2% or what? Do you have any rules like that? Because you're in a lot of trades, right? At any given
Right.
time. Yeah.
Um, Great question. I don't risk more than 2% unless I see an incredibly good trade, like I over leveraged on the Australian dollar. There is no way I went nuts on the Australian dollar.
Right.
It's the only time when the fundamentals and technicals line up. And I'll say that again. When the fundamentals and technicals line up, you can just enter a trade. I would sell the farm and
Right.
place a trade.
Yep. Yep. There was a quote in the Market Wizards book where it takes courage to be a pig or something like that. I think it was Soros or one of Soros' traders. He said he learned from Soros. He said, "Look, I learned that when there's a time when you just kind of load up, I guess." Yeah.
The thing is, you don't have to do that. You can make so much money just being a conservative trader.
Yeah, I think that's good advice actually.
You don't have to do it, and believe me, I don't do it all the time. Just occasionally, I will do it. And even when I do that, I make sure that I have a break-even stop loss immediately after I'm in profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so what you're doing is by doing that, you're saying, "Okay, I'm really keen on this trade, but you know what? I'm going to make sure that my time window, my risk window is closed rather quickly." Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be
Yeah.
because you don't want to be sitting in front of your screen staring like I was talking about before, and then getting out at a because it turns against you 10 pips, and then you get out at a loss, and you forgot why you even got in the trade in the first place. You got in the trade because that was very sound technical setup, but then you over leverage and you're freaking out because what if you lose? You're thinking, oh my god, what if I lose on this trade?
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's why you have to have a break-even stop loss, and if you get taken out, you're not losing anything except the commission.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Hey, Roberto, thanks so much for your time. This is awesome. So many people here are really excited about this system, and I think you've just made a lot of fans. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, this is great.
Thanks a lot, guys. I love doing this anytime. Um, if you want to do another webinar, Walter, I'd be happy to do another one. This
Yeah.
actually helps me become a better trader, by the way, because I have to, I remember things that sometimes I'll forget.
Yeah.
And then I say, oh, I said that in the webinar. I've forgotten about that. Let me just go back and place a trade based on what I said. So
Yeah.
it helps me a great deal. And I hope everyone can benefit from this. Trading is so much fun. It doesn't have to be stressful, but you just have to be careful and just learn the mental aspect of trading is so important. Focus on that more than technicals first before you start trading. And that's my 2 cents worth.
Okay.
That's the advice.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we'll have you back for the maybe we can do a news news strategy webinar or something like that.
Great. We can do a live news
Exactly.
webinar.
Yeah, that's what I was
Let's
thinking.
do a live one.
Let's find a good day that has a nice news event. We could do that. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Well, we can do several. I mean,
Yeah.
and they could be just very short webinars that'll last 10, 15 minutes
Yeah.
because that's all it takes to make money.
Yeah.
And so let's do that. So I will send. What
Okay.
I'll do is I'll post a calendar of trade events
Uh-huh.
for there's a lot coming out, and non-farm payrolls coming out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can do that and then just trade.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and email me for anytime you want to do it, and because everyone here is really excited about this. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Great.
Thanks so much, Roberto, and thank you so much,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Thanks for your
Walter.
time. Thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful trading week. I'll put this up on the forum, and it'll be up probably tomorrow. All right? Take care, guys. Good night, Ruben. See you later, Dave. Bye. See ya, Roberto. Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye.
See ya.
Walter.
Bye.